Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audiblepodcast.com/Sorgatron Media. Over 75,000 titles to choose from for your iPod, iPhone, or MP3 player.
So you arrive at work on a cheerful Monday morning and realize immediately that it's going to be one of those weeks. What you need is an impossibly positive thinking optimistic optimist in your life. One who says encouraging words like, "Won't you be my neighbor?" and "Have an awesome week of awesomeness." Well, we have just the solution for you. Your boss. Yes, your boss is the one who has the authority to bequeath to you a totally awesome week of awesomeness simply by saying the words. Good luck and have an awesome week.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having an awesome week. It is the AwesomeCast. We're back again. I'm alone on this here couch, but I got the golden microphone of power. Look at that. Look at that thing. It's so gold. First, I want to thank Dan Harder of VO, the number 4, U, the letter U, not pointing at you, .com, VO4U.com. A guy we work with in one of my many jobs. Passed that around the studio, the office. And I asked, I think that would be an appropriate start to this. So somebody I hope is also having an awesome week, and he's a Rolly guy to this week. Rob De La Creta. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I knew today was going to be a long day, so I woke up, had an over adequate amount of coffee, and I've been getting stuff done today. And even though we have an incredible amount of work to do around here, we've got like 9 jobs to get done in 2 weeks. It's really funny. Everything will be fine, and everything's going relatively according to plan, which is amazing. And most importantly, as you said, I'm Rolly, not just in this way.
I don't know.
I could do. This is my favorite thing. Yeah.
Chachi, go wide so we can actually maybe see a little better there, the actual motion.
Go.
For the video, but.
Wait, but it gets better. Join me, if you will. Join me on a trip to the water cooler. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. Right. I am at in the Cotton Factory studio for anybody who's curious. I'm gonna roll over here. And then I'm gonna. Oh, look at that! I'm gonna get some water. All right.
He's just cruising around in the background.
It's nice. Just getting some water. There we go.
Oh
okay.
Man!
And I'm just gonna roll on back to where I was.
This demonstration of awesome wheelchairs brought to you by Rob De La Creta.
Screens behind me there. That's good.
Wow.
The rumble while we're doing this is amazing as well. And right there, as you see in front of the Rolly action, on the 1s and 2s and sometimes the 3s and 4s, DJ Chachi says, Chachi, how you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, you seem to be having a good week.
It is a pretty good week.
Until I see your Twitter while you're at work, but other than that...
Hey, you know what? For the record, I've been really good at not mentioning specific places, people, or events on Twitter now.
That's smart.
That's
good.
Very
smart.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Before, I would flat out say that this happened here by this person.
Yeah.
And now I just generalize it to saying, I'm angry.
I'm angry right now.
That's all there is to it. I mean, this morning, I was a little more detailed than that because I said that I was happy, and then I got to where I was going, and I was no longer happy.
Fantastic.
Where, if you know me, then you know where I was heading this morning. So, I mean, I did pretty well.
Okay.
Hey, Mike.
What?
How do you contact the show?
Wait, we have to introduce our other person that's here.
Right.
I'll forget him.
Just leave the black guy
I forgot he was there. I am sorry.
Well, he is hard to see, let's be honest.
I am sorry. I forgot you were there.
In the year 2011.
Oh, man.
That's Malenko, of course. Magtunes.com. Carbon Copy Squared is his comic. It's been renamed since last time he was on. And he has some awesome interviews. What's that?
like 100 million times.
Yeah, a few times. And of course he has been featured in some interviews right here at sorgatronmedia.com, where we had a little the Blogger Blast down at Toonseum way back in the beginning of February. Just posted your interview with Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Pinhead.
Have you been having nightmares since?
I constantly see nails coming out of my head with little snails on them. It's great. It's crazy.
Didn't you like go back and watch it after you interviewed him?
Yeah, because I had no freaking idea who he was.
You're just like, I've never seen Hellraiser. I'm like, well, I'm holding the camera, so you have to interview him. Wait.
I'm like, I'm sure you're somebody, but okay. So
Hey.
I looked it up in your typical 80s movie. So
Yeah. So, I mean, but that was cool. It was a nice interview. It's a cool, 14-minute interview with him, and you guys bonded over soccer.
Wow.
yes.
Rob, stop updating the notes.
What? I was just helping.
No, you weren't.
Can we not say that word on air?
No.
No.
I should not refresh this, huh?
No. You should
Oh, it'll
not.
refresh on its own.
Oh,
It's Google.
jeez.
But,
Anyways, you can contact the show and tell us what word you think that is. You can contact us at contact@awesomecast.com, or hit up the phone number at 724-25-ACAST at 724-252-2278. It's really small. We're working on our
You remembered
vibe here.
the number.
I remembered the number. So, I guess I should put that on me since I'm usually talking during that part.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, whatever,
As the mixer, I
Yes.
think it's only appropriate that it's on me.
I don't think the mixer is the proper word for
Hey,
you.
no, it's not. I don't know what you call me. Producer?
Hey, producer, director of production, something like that. The switcher, I don't know.
Whatever.
We'll invent a title for you.
I just.
Walango has the wave coming in.
Yeah, that's what
Hey, get in your Skype and make sure it's not auto correcting things. The audio on your microphone. There, Malengo. I hope he can hear us.
Well, I turned.
I think he's drowning under a tidal wave. I think
could
that's
be.
what just happened.
That could be.
I turned him down to cut off that
Can
noise.
you not hear me? I can't hear anybody.
All right,
No,
it's
we can
better.
hear you. Just make sure you're not like auto correcting your microphone or something, okay?
Actually, I wasn't. I had no idea what was going on there.
No, yeah, it'll do it on its own sometimes.
Damn
Yeah.
it, Rob!
Bastards.
Rob, did you put pictures in here?
No!
Okay, I'll pass that. The first thing I have here to talk about. What?
I can't help it. I am sorry. I have to laugh at this.
Okay.
Because not only did he put the big word in
Yeah.
50 times, but if you look in really small letters.
It says
That
a
wasn't
small
me.
one.
That was
It says a
Malengo.
small one.
Oh, okay.
Oh. All right.
I'm the large red thing.
The large red 3. That's Rod.
All right, sorry.
Apparently still not updated on this thing.
So in the news,
Yes.
There's an iPad, a new iPad. We're all obsolete.
magnets. That's how it works.
Magnets. Oh, I just saw the 3. Yes, magnets. How do they work?
Yes.
We'll
so,
find out.
let's go down what we said was going to happen. Let's see. Waterproof? No.
No.
Not at all.
Not even
unfortunate.
close.
It's unfortunate.
Front-facing camera, jackpot.
Yep.
You got 2 cameras, rear and front-facing, which not many people expected.
Right.
Upgraded processor. I do recall last week, mostly because I regretted saying it like a half hour after I said it. Somebody in the chat room suggested that it would be dual processor, and I said, no, it won't be dual processor. It'll be dual core, and it's the same thing effectively. It's got an A5, which is running a dual core 1 gigahertz processor.
How do your words taste, Rob?
How do my words taste?
Yeah. Since you're
They
eating on
taste like.
Since you're chewing on them now.
Well, I'm not necessarily eating my words because it was like a half hour later. I was like, oh, that thing that they were saying was actually the thing that I meant, and whatever.
Okay.
What else we got? We got upgraded memory. We've got
Do we-
9 times the video processing power. 9 times.
Ooh.
9.
9.
But the lovely people over at Ars Technica did some benchmarking, and using the current version of iOS, not a whole lot of improvement, but everybody, I mean, I'm kind of hoping, but because the power is certainly there in the A5 and the chipsets that are chosen for the device, but none of the current apps take advantage of it. So the most important thing to understand for the consumers is that if you buy an iPad 2 and download an app that was built for the current version of iOS and doesn't have these new specs in mind, you're not going to see any improvement at all. Because it's one of those things where they have to build it to take advantage of the
And
hardware.
that's something like we've had the same thing with the Retina display. Nothing really took advantage of it until you saw all your apps updated for it.
And some of them took forever. It took Facebook
Yeah.
like 6 months to update for the Retina display.
Yeah, and I don't know how long it was before even like applications on a Windows PC took advantage of multiple cores. There's still some that don't. So I mean, Apple's no stranger to that. Developer community's there. It's going to come real quick. So
Yeah. And was it? Am I remembering this incorrectly, or is the new version of iOS supposed to drop today?
well, there was rumors that it was going to come out today, but the original date was going to be this Friday, along with the new iPads. So
Okay, that's what I thought, because I saw something yesterday, and they're like, new 4.3 tomorrow, and I was like, really?
Yeah,
don't think that-
yes. My manager today was telling me about that, and I was just like, really? I thought it was Friday. So I don't know. I'm busy doing this because I'm here
Yes.
with you people.
You Pete? What do you mean, you
What? That was supposed to come off a little differently. But yeah, I mean, it's basically what people are really kind of down on the cameras though. Apparently, we don't have final stats on what the cameras are. The word is they're pretty much what you expect out of the iPod Touch, the last revision,
Really?
which isn't as high res as the iPhone 4.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but still, it says it shoots 720p, but I guess it's an upconvert thing. So
Where's this information coming from?
this is thoughts and speculations from like 3 different podcasts, mostly probably on the Twit Network. that
I'm
I've
gonna
listened
say,
to.
I'm gonna throw this out here. It has the same stuff that's in the iPhone 4.
You think?
It doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. But same stuff in the iPhone 4 or same stuff in the iPod Touch?
Same stuff in the iPhone 4.
I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, why would you go through the additional trouble of upconverting and pissing off a lot of people?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on who you think this audience is really for. Us that are trying to get the most out of this thing, that I want to use it for production, or the general person is not going to care about that discrepancy.
Well, also, I mean, if you're going to be doing, if you are going to be doing iPad, because FaceTime is in this, obviously. If you're going to be doing iPad to iPad, you need the better camera.
Yeah, it's just VGA. So you just got a VGA display stretched out to this size.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, you're going to have the same problem going from what's the camera on the iPhone? The front one.
The front-facing camera is the lower. The front-facing camera is the same camera that you see on the iPod Touch.
Okay,
the rear-facing camera is the one that is the upgraded 5 megapixel.
So it's like that VGA quality. It's not what you need for like high-res pictures or anything like that. And you gotta think, if I'm sitting on my iMac with FaceTime, which they just released out of beta, it's 99 cents. I still think I'm fine with Skype.
And the new MacBook Pros have an HD eyesight. Or whatever
That's
they're calling
interesting.
it now.
That's interesting, especially since that shot of Chachi over there is actually on a MacBook Pro. And I guess that's probably just VGA quality. I always thought it was a really good shot. Obviously not as good as this 3-chip camera in front of me here. There's Chachi. But that's been my main camera while we Skype in other people, and I thought it's been fine for a podcast. I mean, it looks moderately stretched out after all the compression. If I put it on a boxy on my 42-inch, but other than that, I think it's fantastic. And they upped that to HD. I mean, how many people are going to be making movies on their MacBook now?
Yeah, well, I mean, the point was, like, when they announced it, they said, new HD, because it's not the iSight anymore. Now they're calling it the FaceTime camera.
Yeah.
New HD quality FaceTime camera
Which
in the MacBook Pro. That's what they said on stage.
Interesting rebranding they have going on there. I don't know, maybe they just don't want to put I in front of everything anymore. You know, maybe we're seeing a little bit of shift there since they've been doing it for 10 years now. But actually more so, probably.
Also, the iPad 2 is incredibly thinner. Okay, everybody with an iPhone 4, take it out of your pocket and regret the fact that it is now thicker than the iPad.
That's impressive to me. Like, that's one of those...
ridiculous.
Like that's like, what, less than half the size of the iPad, you know? And, you know, granted, I got it in this giant case, so it looks even bigger. But we're...
Yeah, it is a third of the
a third of the size? Here, I'll hold it up here. I mean, that's your iPad right there in my big hands. But yeah, a third of that. I want to feel like I want to snap. I already feel like I want to snap this thing in half. That's why I have it protected for myself.
It's thinner than the iPhone 4. It's one of those things where people are going to go up to you. Like, our friends are going to come up to us and be like, dude, I went to the Apple store the other day, and I held the iPad 2, and it's so incredibly small, which is the exact same thing that everybody did when the MacBook Air came in.
Yeah. I still go into there and say I'm going to snap that in half if I ever had it. You know.
I still pick up the Air, and I'm like, this is insane. This is stupid.
Yeah.
It's a piece of paper with a display on it.
It is. Who's gonna? I'm just gonna put it in an envelope and forget about it. Apparently, I'll get tossed out with my recycling, which will be appropriate since it's aluminum.
You know, I mean,
there are stories. If you look around, there are stories of people who have lost their iPad because they put it with a stack of papers and threw it away.
What were you saying there, Malenga?
I was saying I think this is something they had to do. When you compare it to the Nook and the other, or not even the Nook, but the other e-readers that are out there, the biggest complaint has been that the iPad was
too heavy and that it's too thick.
Yeah, and I mean, so if you're going to go with that argument, I mean, this is something that at least, they can stack up to, and they can say, well, it is lighter than it was before. So
yeah, it's not only is it thinner, but it is in fact lighter. It's lighter by like 0.5 of a pound or whatever. But which doesn't sound like much, but when you get under 2 pounds, that's a lot of weight to lose, especially when it has the exact same battery life. It's like, what is it, like 9 hours, or I forget. It's still got a month.
It's somewhere.
They're
proclaiming 10. So
10 hours. So 10 hours of use and a month of standby.
And I've been surprised. I've had this thing since December, and I'm surprised how long. Well, we were at a meeting. It was like, it's 10%. It's like, don't worry, we got like another half hour of reading Google Docs. We're fine. And so really, it is a battery improvement, but it's just they've added so much stuff. It doesn't look like it on paper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't think they didn't do something with that. I mean, it's still pretty incredible. Now, we mentioned briefly the magnets.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Beth in the chat room brought up a point that I was thinking but didn't say. Who is seriously going to leave their iPad sitting on their desk for a month without touching it? No.
It's not that you're going to leave it on your iPad for let me get my words in the right place. It's not that you're going to leave it sitting for a month. It's that you're going to hold it in your hand, and then you're going to set it down. And then when you're not using it, that's standby time.
I've had it.
So you have equivocally that much time in between use that you don't have to plug it in.
I have mistakenly put mine in a pile of documents at work. I mean, not that I lost it, but it was like, oh, hey, it kind of does get sort of lost in that pile of file folders over there that I really need to put away sometime. But identifying problems. Yeah, there's an app for that. But yeah, the people are not using it for a month. I mean, how many people get this because of the cool factor? And maybe
my iPad, I forget to plug it in constantly. I want to grab it and throw it in my bag.
Yeah.
And there have been plenty of times where I left it like on my nightstand for legitimately 3 weeks, and then I picked it up and it still had like 60% battery life. I'm like, this is
tremendous.
Amazing.
It's tremendous.
No, I understand what you're saying because I know how I am, and I would forget to charge it also.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, because the battery life is so incredible, you forget to charge it even more.
But I mean, honestly, and I understand what you're saying, Mike, but if you buy an iPad for the cool factor, and don't end up using the iPad,
You're probably
there's something wrong with you.
You have you should probably see somebody.
This is coming from a huge Android fan. All right, I have been anti-Apple for the longest time. Not because they produce inferior products, because we all know that's not true. It's because of the people that buy Apple.
You're hipster with the toe hanging out of his shoe at the Apple store.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I got
it's
you.
the type of people that
Hold
buy...
on. What hipsters do you know?
We've had this conversation.
What
on
is
here.
this toe hanging out of the shoe thing?
Okay,
this was a guy working at the Apple store in South Hills Village.
We
It
went
was
to
amazing.
the South Hills Village Mall.
We've told this story on the show. I know we have.
Well,
before.
I don't know if Rob remembers.
Okay, then Cliff Notes version.
We went.
I haven't heard it.
We went to the Apple store at South Hills Village. Mike needed some kind of adapter, and he dragged me into the store.
And I said, "No, you won't burn."
And so we're standing. we're in the store. He's getting to the. He's getting the adapter, and I look over, and it looks like there's a homeless guy working in the Apple store. Like, his hair is all in knots, not washed, all greasy. His pants are filled with holes, and his sailor shoes have holes in both toes.
All right, okay, sure.
He looks like a homeless guy.
All right.
That's
You know what they're saying right there is that anybody could use this iPad.
Even the homeless guy sleeping in the back. Yeah.
That's like a college humor video. What we're trying to say here, Johnny Otter, what we're trying to say is that anybody can use this. You'll walk into the Apple store and you'll see Johnny Be Good there, no shoes on. He's got half a brain. You know what? He's sitting in a wheelchair. He can use the iPad, and so can you.
That was good.
Be every man's tool.
But I mean, honestly, I come over here to Swords, and if we're just sitting around BSing or watching the Apple Store, or watching the Apple Store, or watching something.
We're sitting around watching the Apple Store,
kinda creeps
as
him out.
one does.
If we're watching something, I'll pick up his or Missy's iPad and just start messing with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean...
It's this, hey, look at this factor, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool thing. It's still, I mean, we had this conversation the other day about how it's still a luxury device. It's hard to argue that it is anything but a luxury device unless you're in one of the niche categories where you can use it for work, like a doctor, if you're using it for ebooks or stuff like that. Totally cool, but for the average individual, it sits on your coffee table for when you're bored.
Yeah, definitely. I want to get to this so we can move on here, because we got plenty more to get into. Magnetic cover.
Yes. What are they called?
It's a
Smart
cover.
covers?
A smart cover, I guess. Their excuse to be able to say, hey, we provide more than just black and white, which there's white, which I guess that's a milestone here. But yeah, it doesn't, it's not like a case. Like, it doesn't seem like it protects the edges. No, I'm impressed. Not enough to buy one, but I'm impressed with what they're doing here. I mean,
What's the price tag on it? Like $30?
I think it's like $40. Yeah. But
gosh.
magnets, it's perfectly aligned that the magnets will set on your iPad perfectly. It'll line right up. And you know, it folds over, and what I call the refrigerator effect. I don't know if they refer to it as the same thing, but they said it does work this way: that you pick up the corner of it, your iPad turns on. You drop it, your iPad goes to sleep. And that's nothing new. There's other people who have done this before. I think they said BlackBerry did it.
Wait, what are we talking about? I'm confused here.
The cover for the iPad.
Right, I know we're the lift up the corner thing. What?
You lift up the corner and it turns like enough to see the screen and it turns on. Like you open the refrigerator door and the light's on, and you're like, is it still on? Close it.
Okay. So there's a cover on like a full face cover on it.
Oh yeah, I guess
I haven't really
I don't know
looked
if
at
you haven't watched the little video with the little pops and everything they had fun with. Go check that out sometime here. But yeah, it's magnets, man. The magic of magnets.
That's how it works.
It's legitimately magical, or something like that. So, excuse me 1 second here, because I have to get something here. But the next article is about Android kill switch and malware. I wanted to get into here. Unfortunately, Chachi had to go take a call. But have you guys been following this? Ish.
Okay. Wow.
So what is this? The Android kill switch?
I think we lost Mike. Hold on. The show broke for a minute, so
no, everything's fine. I'm not Chachi though. No, he's Chachi's on call. So and apparently that just struck. So we're just gonna swap up, and people are gonna be like magically, hey, he's in that seat. Anyways, so we'll just work with this. So yeah, the big thing, Android malware hit. I think it was something like 58 applications were found to have malware on the Android store. And
so they pushed out a security update that just killed them.
No, and there's also the remote switch too, right?
Yeah. There is a remote switch, and all device, all software manufacturers. So Google has it, Apple has it. As far as if need be, they do have a kill switch. They have the ability to remove software from your device if they feel the need to.
Now, this goes back to, we talked about in our little prediction show at the beginning of the year about how, I thought that we're going to have a big bug that makes people be afraid of their phone.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of it. And scary part, they were talking about on TNT, Tech News Today, I believe yesterday, that there are some people taking some legitimate applications, wrapping them in malware, and reposting them on the
Golly, doesn't that sound familiar? Oh, right, that's what Windows does.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. And considering that, once again, the guy that wanted to talk about this, considering that Android is fast becoming the number one platform for smartphones, we go back to the Cricket people, Sorry, Hot Wheels. But the accessibility to everybody that maybe don't really even get multitasking, and they're going to be, but again, we have Google looking out for us with the malware kill streak switch. So
yeah, it's just one of those things where you choose the Apple path, you get the App Store. That's something you have to fight unless you jailbreak, in which case you're going to get, any myriad of software that may or may not be good for your phone. But with Android, it's a little bit more of a free market, and there isn't, the approval process or anything like that. So if you hate the approval process, you go Android, and then what do you get? You get the exact same sort of story you get from having an open system. Not in the same way as Windows, but in the same software venue sort of deal where there is no app store for Windows and whatever, so any software goes and anybody can wrap anything in a Trojan horse and worms and all that kind of fun stuff, and nothing like that can get into the app store as long as you don't jailbreak your phone.
Yeah,
it's give it a take.
I've had discussions with people like, oh, why don't you jailbreak and get this and this, you'll be fine with getting. Go Tether. Why you bother with the MiFi with Verizon for your iPads? And it's just like, we need, I need something reliable like that, And if I jailbreak, then I lose that reliability. Great, okay, I don't get emulators, I don't get this feature, but then I have to play the rat race of the version game, with all the different jailbreak softwares and everything, and.
I invest in the Apple cycle because it makes my life easier. Why would I want to make it more difficult?
Okay, I have to wait a little bit longer. I'm a little more patient. That's fine.
And speaking of being patient and getting things from Apple, the new update for iOS, which should roll out this Friday, like we discussed. How about wireless hotspots? How about that?
Boom.
Bang.
I'm
done.
excited.
Yep, I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah. After I already got a MiFi with Verizon.
How does it feel?
But are you looking to switch that up there, Rob?
Switch what up?
To the MiFi, to the wireless hotspot.
It's not viable under 3G. It's just not the speeds aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could, but as you understand, as a content creator, an upstream of like 800 kilobits per second on 3G, not good at all.
It's well, you got to watch out. If you're one of the lucky individuals that's still grandfathered in an unlimited plan, it will eliminate your grandfathered plan. You will be dropped down to whatever it was, 2 gigabytes, and then you get an extra 2 gigabytes for the new hotspot plan.
Oh, it's a hotspot plan.
Yeah, because it's not just, hey, we have hotspots. It's you have to get it through AT&T. This is the one.
Well, you know what else? What else I have installed on my little phone here?
What's that?
Remember that app, the Handy Light?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got that.
And I don't think they can get you for that. I mean,
They cannot get me for that. Standard data.
So technically, yeah. How many people have that? So.
No, man.
That's tremendous.
Anyway, what else we got here?
Well, Chachi is still handling his support call right now.
We can jump
awesome,
to something that we know about. Do you have one of these that's yours, or is it all his, or what are we looking at?
What's that?
Story.
One of these
Pick
things?
Story.
Oh, Pac-Man Happy Meal?
Sure.
I promised we talk about Happy Meals tonight. This is actually passed to me today at work. But yeah, Wendy's is going to have Pac-Man Happy Meals.
Pac-Man Happy Meals. So basically it's the Happy Meal box and it unfolds to a Pac-Man game?
Is it the box that unfolds in?
That's the graphic that I'm looking at.
Yeah, it does. Wow, that does look like it's just the box, doesn't it? That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, tabletop gaming. Yeah,
that's
so
very disappointing.
No, I think it's kind of its own thing. When
I read the title of this article, it's Wendy's to include tabletop Pac-Man games in kids' meals. Apparently, my brain got halfway through the sentence and decided that they were going to have a Microsoft Surface type device in the tables at Wendy's.
So you automatically created a better story out of this.
Cool.
Yeah, that's just way too cool. So this is the crappiest solution you could imagine. It's a box that unfolds, and then you can play Pac-Man with your friends with bits of cardboard.
Yeah, doesn't it defeat the purpose of Pac-Man?
I think it really does. I mean, I don't even understand how you get chased. This is strange and dumb. Who picked this story? Looking at you.
I was feeding for Wendy's at the time, I guess. I'm sorry. All right, what else? Well, let me bring these back up. Well, this was interesting. The Comcast CEO last week declared that reruns, as we used to know them on television, is now Netflix.
Okay. Series of tubes, not a dump truck. How old is this guy?
I don't know.
All right, just checking.
I don't know. I'm sure he's older. I mean, Comcast. He's probably over there in Philadelphia, and is.
I mean, I can kind of appreciate where he's going with it. It's just it's probably a snippet that's out of context.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly about I don't know how many
what is it
I don't use Netflix personally. How about I know you do,
mm-hmm.
Mike. When you get a show on Netflix, are you getting a show you've seen before, or getting a show you haven't seen before?
Typically a new show I haven't checked out. Like
right.
I came across like The State, which a lot of comedians came out, including a lot of the crew from Reno 911. So I'm going through that. I ran through the entire Battlestar Galactica series. Stuff I've never gotten to
series.
yet. I have some stuff kind of pegged like Highlander, that I've watched before. And a couple other little things, but I really don't see myself getting to them over other things. 24, I've gone through 3 seasons of 24. I might not continue.
I wonder if rerun syndication numbers are down because of Netflix.
Well, then again, who's rerunning 24? You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Battlestar is probably getting rerun on Sci-Fi, just because that's where it came from. But
I wonder how many shows are basically they had option A, syndicate, rerun, USA Network, TBS, whatever, or put it on Netflix as soon as they can.
Yeah.
Actually, as a guy that also uses Netflix. Oh, great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, as a guy that also uses Netflix, I just realized that I've been watching freaking Law and Order. All of the seasons, which are still in reruns, on Netflix.
You can turn on like 3 networks that have it on any day, just about. Just made. Oh, we have somebody in the studio that made me forget what I was talking about. But
is she naked?
Oh
man.
No, she isn't naked.
Does she have a cupcake while she's
I forgot it again. I just finished the book called War for Late Night about the Conan O'Brien, Jay Leno thing that recently happened, and it touches on a whole bunch of stuff. It's a really interesting perspective on the television business, and they did talk about how much harder it is for a moment to get into syndication because they're battling with like the Hulus and everything, and the ratings are just not what they used to be across the board for everybody. Especially guys like NBC. So they're struggling. You don't have too many The Office or anything like that that's going in the reruns. The Office or Family Guys or The Simpsons or anything like that. I mean, I can't believe 2.5 Men has gone 8 years with this whole Charlie Sheen stuff.
Oh gosh!
I'm like, really, that show?
We almost made it through the episode without the words Charlie Sheen.
I didn't say. Did I say? No, well, whatever. It's gone now.
All right, let's start this and end this here. Go to Google. Everybody in the internet, go to Google. You're going to type in eclectic method and
yes.
Charlie Sheen.
Yes, we did.
Watch the video.
Did watch this one today. That was good. Chachi, are you kicking me out of here? Man. All right. But other than that, hey, Chachi, you want to sit down here and talk about your story?
My story?
Your story.
What story?
All right.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm on call this week, so I have to run every once in a while.
He's actually a male nurse.
No. That would be kind of cool, though. Especially if I was working on females. Who is? So
Android.
Yeah, so CNN News, money.cnn.com announced today that Android officially passed BlackBerry as the #1 smartphone being sold today.
Boom, boom,
Called it.
boom.
Did you say called it?
I called it, yeah.
Surprise.
Okay, here's my problem with it. All right, they're not counting any particular Android phone. All right,
No.
just like they're not counting any particular BlackBerry phone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
BlackBerry has maybe 3 or 4 phones out that they're selling.
More than that, but yeah, I got you.
More than that.
Yeah.
They have 3 or 4 serious phones that they're pushing right now.
Okay, I got you. We're not talking about stuff that's like backstock. We're
No.
talking about
No, the 3 or 4 major phones that they're pushing right now.
Yeah.
Android has 27 of them.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Yes, and like we say, it's like kind of the Windows model.
Yeah, they're diluting the market.
Okay, this is true because it's a free operating system.
Right. These
But
stats
but
don't count.
No, the stats do count because that's how many devices. If I decide I want to put Angry Birds on and make it for the Android, ideally, it just became available for that many devices.
I don't
versus-
like you.
From a marketing standpoint, it's
yeah.
the numbers are valid.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
not fair.
Well, I mean, it's also we have yet to see
It's cheap, dirty.
broad adaptation of the Android platform in the business market.
Yes, there's still problems with.
And Malenga's back.
Hey, Blanco.
Wrong one.
I didn't know I was gone.
Well, you were making the tidal wave noise again.
I apologize for that.
It's all right.
That's fine. But anyways, you're saying, Rob?
I was saying something. What was I saying?
I don't know. You're talking about Android.
Oh, the business adaptation thing. Yeah, I mean, BlackBerry is still, like, for business, BlackBerry is still very cool. More people in business are hating BlackBerry as they see everybody else using. Basically, a lot of people who never cared to have a smartphone are given a BlackBerry for work. And now, because smartphones has become the status quo, like feature phones don't necessarily exist in such big numbers as they did before. Whole swaths of people who couldn't care less about smartphones have them because it was like cheap or it was free or they're on Cricket or whatever. They now have them. So now all of their friends have these cool devices, and now people who have BlackBerries are in a position where they realize like there's better things out there.
Yeah.
But before the worlds of Android and iPhone, where the common person had a really cool smartphone, I mean, the Trio used to be $600-700, and nobody had them. Well, I mean, like in the grand scale of things, nobody had them. So chances of you encountering a Trio in the wild, insane. Walk into a Walmart, you're surrounded by iPhones.
And Android, I think, fast became the kind of, well, I can't get an iPhone or I hate Apple, therefore this, because what's your other option?
Yeah, or I'm on T-Mobile, or I've been on Verizon, or whatever.
Yeah. Until recently, there was no other option for the rest of them. I mean, to talk about like that phone as a platform when it wasn't available on 3/4 of the networks in this country, which has to be one of the largest markets, other than maybe China. Yeah, I mean, there's no competition there
because everything's bigger in China.
And RIM's in the same boat that Apple is. They make their own phones. They're a little broader about what they make, and maybe that's why the devices aren't as good when they do something like the Torch, and it's a slow piece of crap that everybody hates.
What was the last good device that BlackBerry came out with?
Curve.
Not the Storm, the Curve.
The Curve.
No.
Oh yeah, the Curve. Yeah, the Curve is still considered one of the best BlackBerry devices of the last few years.
That's still the go-to for them because they're like, well, this is the one you're going to tolerate, right?
Listen,
but the thing is, you compare the Curve to the best Android device and the best, with the iPhone. Like,
yeah, we got
it's
Droids and whatever.
Listen, when I spent 6 months as a temp at the firm I work for. Mm-hmm. When I became a actual employee of the firm, they gave me a list of BlackBerries that I could choose from. On that list were 4 different Storms on 2 different carriers. The Torch was on there, the Bold, and like 6 different versions of the Bold, or the Curve. There was 1 Curve per network on that list.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think there's so many more models because you get like a Bold and then you have like the subset numbers of them, and they're always like doing improvements and everything. But still, there's like I think there's a lack of focus there versus somebody like Apple. And just looking at the Curve here, versus Android, it's just Android's everywhere. It's like you said, it is kind of an unfair advantage. I mean, Windows is kind of going the same thing, except they're not a free operating system, and they're not. Well, I mean, they're pretty much in some cases it looks like they're on the exact same devices as Android.
Right.
So
let me just state, because Rob brought up a point. I think it was Rob. Maybe it was you. Someone said that there's that group of people out there that don't like Apple.
Yeah.
From experience of being there, and thanks to you mean people always having Apple around me.
Hold on, let me take a cell phone pic of you behind that MacBook.
Exactly. But no, honestly, the people out there that say they don't like Apple haven't touched Apple to determine whether or not they have the right to say they don't like Apple.
There's a disease, this amazing disease, and there's somebody that I know. If you want to know who it is, you'll have to talk to me off air. I've had arguments with them once or twice on Twitter. I usually don't push these kind of things, but it just annoyed the heck out of me. And the one basic argument you can make about Apple products that you cannot deny is that one of the reasons that they are more expensive is because they are built much better than any alternative.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I just look at it next to my wife's Gateway and just kind of shake my head. Even though
I mean, give me a unibody aluminum anything else. Oh wait, you can't. I'm sorry. And it takes a heck of a lot more money to put together a unibody aluminum case. I fabricate things for a living. Than a piece of crap HP laptop.
It's that it's that focus. It's that maximizing those small numbers. I mean that's what it is, and that's why they're winning as far as they are winning with Tiger Blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smack
but I mean, and the money goes in all other kinds of
Mike.
places, and there is when you consider everything involved, there is a relatively small amount of badge charge, in that you pay a certain amount of money to buy a Porsche because it has a Porsche label on it. But considering everything else involved, the design, software, yada yada yada, the money goes into a good product. The people, like Chachi said, a lot of the people who have that hatred have never anybody out there. Tell you what, I am getting a new MacBook Pro because this one can't render video for beans anymore. Mm-hmm. Anybody that I know enough to borrow something or wants to give me $1,500 in collateral, you can borrow my MacBook Pro for a month if you promise not to use anything else, and then tell me you still don't like Apple. put it out there.
I mean, that's a fair trade. The MacBook Pro is the one that you currently have, right?
Yeah, I currently have the 2008. Let me see what I'm rolling here about this Mac. 2008, 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 4 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM.
Yeah. And that's
go
ahead.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see how many people in my industry, like 3D and animation, that are hardcore Mac fans. Because when it still comes down to the root
I don't know
of it,
many people in your industry who are Windows fans. And I know a lot of people in your industry.
But I mean, I'm forced to use Windows. It's a love-hate relationship. But at the same time, I also use a Mac, and I'm kind of just like, I don't care. In the sense of reliability, I'd probably, say a Mac over, most PCs. But I'm using a Sony Vaio, and I have no issues with it at all.
And you see it at work. Malenko's working on an iMac, about a 2007, late 2007 iMac. And what was it?
Socks.
Dell. Well, it's an iMac, and they have you doing like giant videos on it, of course. But I mean, how does reliability feel on that versus how many times have you had to reformat that PC?
Oh, well, I mean, most of that is my fault, but now I've kind of gone to the...
now we've gone to the point that even you can't mess up a Mac that bad.
I know, and I have tried, so yes, that's true.
So there you go.
I mean, we could go on about the whole, like, why Apple products are better, more expensive, but better hardware side, software side.
This goes to something of my frustration I've noticed this past week. I'm seeing more and more Zoom commercials. Zoom.
Oh my God! Zoom. How much marketing money do they have?
This goes back to okay, great. It's on the market. They have to compete with iPad 2 because you're going to see those commercials in about a week, and it's going to just overtake everything, I'm sure. But they're like, this Motorola Zoom. It feels like the Droid commercials to a point. It's the same company. It's on Verizon, so of course, it's going to have the same feel. They drop the numbers on you. Dual core, so many gigahertz, so much RAM. You can do this. Processor, flash, da-da-da-da-da. So they throw all that stuff at you. It's really hardcore with the numbers. If you're a geek, you're like, wow, that's really impressive for a thing. Or then you have the iPad commercial. It's like,
that's really impressive for a thing,
Yeah, then you have an iPad commercial, which is just a picture of an iPad doing stuff that's cool. That's what matters. And they're not getting it,
The device speaks for itself.
I feel like the Droid is going to kill me.
Hey, whoa,
oh.
Hey.
Oh. Hey. Wait. I would just like it to be stated for the record that at 8:06 p.m. on March 8th, Sorg dropped the F-bomb on AwesomeCast.
Hey, the Droid scares the crap out of me, okay?
Stop. I'm not done yet.
Okay. Why does it scare you?
I did not drop that bomb.
Have you been in a room where somebody has a Droid phone and they've left the Droid, like, whenever they get a text or something?
I get what you're saying.
And it's like
the red eyeball.
The red eyeball. And it's
Droid.
Like, come on. Yeah. I mean, we've all been there, right? And you're just like, is that thing, are we good? Skynet? What?
My feelings about Zoom, and I was telling Mike about this the other day. Our buddy Andy Anatko at the Chicago Sun-Times.
Not our buddy, but we are fans of his work.
We are fans. I'm a big fan. I stand outside his window and I stare lovingly. But
you have a boombox across
Chicago Sun.
That's called stalking.
I say you have a boombox on your iPad, holding it above your head, like in that movie.
That's amazing. Somebody needs to do that. Why hasn't that happened yet? But a quote, his review of Zoom, a quote from his review of the Zoom, which just sums my feelings up entirely. The Zoom tablet is trim, light, and very pretty. When you place it next to the iPad 2, it looks as though it was designed and built by angry Soviet prison labor instead of by Motorola. Done.
Wow.
Amazing.
Awesome.
And it's just one of those fit and finish things. It's like the Zoom, one of the reasons that they can't do the thing that they do with the iPad 2, which is basically 360-degree view and look at all the cool stuff it does. They have to tout all the pictures and stuff. It's because it's not aesthetically attractive.
It's one of these
It's
things.
a hunk of plastic.
These companies are probably pouring far more money into this thing than Apple is. Apple's a pretty tight-knit company, as far as what they spend on stuff, it seems. And they have all this money and all this marketing potential and all these smart people at these companies, but they don't get it. They're wasting away money and the stuff that just, I don't know who they think they're talking to, but it's not the people buying iPads, to get that away, or the people concerning the iPads, or the people with the friends that have the iPads, or people that are like, hey, that's pretty cool, or my mother-in-law that keeps looking over my shoulder anytime I go home asking how much it is, Yep. I mean, that's this is its own advertisement, because it is what it is, it does what it does, and that's all people want.
Yep.
It's true.
Are we done with the Android now?
We're still talking about the Android?
We need to jump to something not mobile related. How about that?
Let's go.
Can we cover Wendy's?
We already did.
We already did.
Do you have anything to add to that? Well, we had to move on. I wanted to save that story for you.
No, let's go on to something else.
All right.
Okay. So how about this? This shocked me. I woke up and I read the story, and it bothers me on a fundamental level. So
which makes me wonder about your morning practices.
Right.
So for those of you unfamiliar, if a copywritten work, so say Sorg dies, and there was no one in his name to cover all of his copyrights and stuff, eventually his work goes into the public domain. Basically, the public domain is something that was put in place aside the copyright laws that says that if there is no one to claim the copyright anymore, so if there's no family members or anything like that to follow through, and basically there's just this content sitting out there and no one to call it their own, it goes into the public domain. So this is like the Gutenberg library, stuff like that. There's millions of works that go into public domain every single day because their copyright has expired. And this is a good thing. It ensures that new and fresh content and things can be shared in places like libraries. Libraries depend on public domain to serve up content, and I don't mean just brick and mortar libraries. I mean digital libraries as well, of course. And right now, the Supreme Court is about to take on a case that will consider whether public domain works can be pushed back into the copyright closet.
I was bringing up the story in front of me so I could read it.
It comes specifically out of there are clauses as far as I'm trying to read this as accurately as I can. I'm just going to read some stuff here. So the case specifically is Golan v. Holder. Golan would be Lawrence Golan, who is a conductor who availed himself of some manuscripts of the composer Sergei Prokofiev. Sure. That is until they reverted it back into copyright because of Congress upholding Section 514 of an act. And he has been petitioning this, and it's basically that because it was an act from out of the country, it was in Russia, they pulled it back into copyright because it was from out of the U.S. So the EFF and the URAA are terrified of this because this could possibly set a what's the word I'm looking for?
Precedent.
Come on, guys. Thank you. Yeah, could set a precedent for precedence for taking things that are currently available and free and locking them back up again so that literally nobody can access or share them. How do you feel about public domain, Mike?
Well, that time Rob had to pull someone in.
Yeah, really, you're killing me here. How do you feel about public domain,
I'm sorry. It's late in the show, and I already hit my.
And I'm using a lot of big words.
You are.
I know.
You are. Chachi has to bail you out. Yeah. Well, hasn't it already been kind of destroyed to begin with, thanks to the Disney factor. So this is.
Well, I mean, if you're dealing with Disney stuff, but in a general sense,
we're talking about stuff that's already out there. Like
the stuff that's already out there, and the stuff. I mean, like I said, stuff is becoming public domain.
All the Gutenberg project stuff. All the stuff we
that's
see
why I said the Gutenberg project a minute.
Yeah.
Here's
the Google Books, I mean, everything. I mean, that's
exactly.
classics. That's the only real kind of application of that, other than like old training videos from the 50s. Which I think are important.
It's also,
to
I
archive.
mean, the thing with this is that it was a symphony, and someone was remixing and using parts of the symphony.
Okay.
It goes into every aspect of the remix that you know of. Like, for instance, let's say that you found a theme song that ended up in public domain, and you used it for this podcast.
Okay.
And then Congress says, no, you can't do that anymore. Sorry, it's now copyright so-and-so.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you. You get caught for copyright infringement. You didn't even know about it. It gets really messy.
Well, that's like, I feel like, to certain points, stuff like Creative Commons and PodSafe music is kind of questionable, supposedly, we can use stuff from IOTA. We use something from IOTA PromoNet for the intro to this song, or to this show. But, there's like if they take it down and not offering it anymore, you don't know that, and then they can come at you potentially for copyright infringement because it's no longer a PodSafe thing, and you don't get notices on stuff like that. So yeah, that retroactive effect is interesting.
Yeah, and also there's the really ridiculous possibility that the acts that are in place that turn things into public domain will no longer exist, which means that if somebody creates content and then something happens to them, or for some reason they're no longer able to claim that copyright, nobody else can use that content or share it or do anything. I mean, I always have to remind people that copyright means that nobody can even link to your content. They can't share it. They can't copy it. They can't quote you. They can't do anything because that's considered violation of copyright.
Yeah, and we're also talking about history here, our own written history and having that available,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's stuff like...
the U.S. Constitution is public domain. How about that?
Yeah. I mean...
Not anymore.
We'll see how long that lasts now.
Yeah.
But that idea that, like, okay, great, you're seeing movies with these depictions of the 50s, but go to something like archive.org and see a video from the 50s. There's a tremendous documentary called Wiley Avenue, I think, that's about the Hill District and everything here in Pittsburgh, because it was a prominent black neighborhood, really important in the I think it was like the 30s through the 50s. As far as that, you've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it comprises of a lot of that old photography from the age, some video from the time, as much as there was, and so it's not like an imagination. This is what it's like. It's like, here it is. This is what it's like. And going back to what we think of neighborhoods like that, I know we see pictures of giant steel mills and smokiness.
Here's what it comes down to. It comes down to the U.S. government saying, if you want to see or experience something from back in the day, you're going to have to bootleg it.
Mm-hmm. They're criminalizing all of us.
They're going to make, because... Yeah. I mean, it's there for us to use right now. It's a great thing. It's I'm always preaching about sharing information, and just because information is old does not mean it's any less useful or anything like that.
Right. I mean,
it needs to be shared, and if you take that ability away, piracy becomes the status quo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a history buff by any means, but I watch a lot of documentaries on the history of Pittsburgh and on the History Channel, and I will go off and do more research to further understand it and experience it. If I have to bootleg that information, I'm gonna bootleg that information.
Yeah.
I will torrent a song from the 50s or 40s if I have to.
It kind of cultivates that kind of thinking,
You want to You want to encourage me to break the law, then I'm gonna break the law.
Yeah. So
that's what it comes down to.
On that note, I think it's a good point to close, unless there's anything else you guys want to stick in there definitely this week, guys.
Chachi has the key to the city.
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't. He has a proclamation.
I do. Have
Yes,
a
you did have a proclamation last week.
I did.
You brought copies for everybody today.
No, not everyone.
Oh, everybody that.
So I did do some research on the way city council works in Pittsburgh.
Since we've been exposed to so much government this last week.
A lot of people misunderstood what was going on with me in city council.
Okay.
I had a lot of people asking if I was receiving a key to the city. And so I looked it up.
So everybody just automatically imagines you with this giant key that says Pittsburgh on it.
Right. But I looked it up, and the city of Pittsburgh does not give out keys.
Boo.
At all. So what they do is they dedicate a day in your honor. So last Wednesday was Chachi Plays Day in the city of Pittsburgh, along with like 10 other people's days.
Non-exclusive day for Chachi.
Yeah, it was a non-exclusive day because they had a lot of stuff that they were celebrating. But it was still really cool. Yeah.
They can't afford keys because Ravenstall bought all those trash cans.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I actually looked it up, and if I wanted to, after the key purchase and the engraving, I could get a giant ceremonial key for like $135.
Oh, sure.
So, I mean, if people want to, toss me some money and buy me a key to the city of Pittsburgh, I mean, I'm not going to argue. I think we have that in the AwesomeCast funds, right?
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And speaking of proclamations, Shell Games in Southside, was commended today by City Council as well.
Yeah.
Because their game, I think it's Toy Store Mania.
It was like Toy Story Mania or something, because they do games for Disney now.
Yeah, it was Toy Story Mania was the 4th highest selling game on something. I forget what it was.
Got to be an app store.
Yeah.
Because they do iPhone games.
And so the city of Pittsburgh commended them.
So,
which leads me to believe that District 3, the district I live in, and I looked it up because I was wrong last week. I didn't. I thought I lived in District 9. I live in District 3.
Jeez.
I
hope I didn't write that on anything.
Yeah, I was off by a bit. Loves gamers, essentially.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bruce Cross.
Yeah.
Go Bruce Cross.
Yeah, right.
Oh, what's up to Bill Peduto that Toy picked from his seat on the council?
Yes.
Chachi giving his speech last week. That was pretty awesome. There's a picture of that on this week's Chachi Says, number 24. There's the little bit of footage of it from the Justin TV from his cell phone of the speech. We'll have a better quality shortly. Go check that out. ChachiSays.net. You got a great blog thing going on there with the games. So, Rob, let's go. Oh no, the droid's here. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
All right, Rob, what's going on with you?
Yeah,
buddy. Friend, pal, how are you?
I don't know. I don't really have it. It's a whole. I don't know. I'll be out of town. What is it? Not next week. Week after that. Another week after that. And I'm buying my MacBook Pro this weekend. Going to the Apple Store.
Yeah. Are you going to be coming at us in HD?
Yes, I will.
Too bad I'm definitely not going to be supported on this end.
Oh, snap.
We'll have to upgrade even further for that. Excellent.
So, Malengo, what do you got going on, sir?
Slowest outro ever.
Not much. Wait, before I get to that, I'm a little pissed off that Shell Games got that. It's just a freaking the thing is stupid. Toy Story Mania.
Yeah.
It's a gating system without the expense of a 3D equipped home entertainment system. It's not, just a plug toy.
It's not okay. I understand what you're saying. I think they're more celebrating the fact that they're putting Pittsburgh on the map in a different industry now.
Yeah, there's a developer from Pittsburgh that's getting on some kind of chart.
I think they just want an excuse to give out stuff. Because, I mean, this company is also located in Texas, and the fact that they have, Disney on them, I guess it's a reason to give out a proclamation.
But they started this company.
No. Let me clarify.
All right.
Shell Games wasn't given a proclamation.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't Shell Games Day in Pittsburgh today.
No.
They were just commended, which
Okay.
means they announced it in city council and recognized it.
Not a proclamation, a commendation.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is
that's
different.
That's different. Okay. Because I was going to say, when we were there was like Peace Corps from Darfur. There was a community group from Manchester trying to clean up the streets there. I mean, it was like, even us going after like 4 of those, we felt kind of like... Chachi played video games and raised three grand for kids to play video games.
Meanwhile,
you guys are in Darfur.
Yeah,
I mean,
Peace Corps was there.
I mean, this and that. Then we heard about Shell Games and it was like Toy Story. But no, great for Shell Games and great that there's stuff happening in Pittsburgh. Not to completely bury them on the show, but we hope they talk to us someday.
Not anymore.
There goes that dream.
Thanks, Malengo.
There you go.
Sorry, guys.
Fantastic.
Penis.
Well, that's.
Way to slip that in there.
Please go check us out at AwesomeCast.com where you can get all the episodes that are getting dirtier and dirtier. And send complaints for if I did or didn't bleep some of those words of this episode to contact at AwesomeCast.com, 724-25-ACAST, 724-252-2278. Right there on the bottom of the screen under Chachi.
Right.
Yeah, I did. Look at that.
Awesome.
Look at that. It's so tiny on the screen there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right there.
I have no idea if you're pointing right. There's a little bit of delay. And please check out everything else going on, including Malengo having his interview with Pinhead as they talk soccer and hate on the Steelers.
Yeah.
It's really funny in that video, Malengo, that you're wearing a Steelers jersey and he's just tearing football apart in front of you.
Yeah, it would have been wrong for me to punch him in the face.
No.
No.
He's a fine gent that's picking Pittsburgh over Liverpool, England, and he knows Freddy Krueger personally.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome. So go please check that out. It's the Spine Chillers series and DougBradley.com for that stuff.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah, and the Mayhemies are going on. If you're also listening to the Wrestling Mayhem show, we're pushing that our yearly awards show. I don't know if we should have like an A-Casties or something on this show. No, we don't have anything to celebrate with an award show on this.
No, not unless we're giving out like failure awards.
Oh,
Like if we point out all the technology failures in the past year.
How about that zip drive, eh?
Oh, Click of Death sucks. All right, guys, this has been your Awesome Cast. Thanks for Malengo, Rob, and Chachi behind the ones and twos. This is Sorg. This is the Awesome Cast. Thank you, our awesome chat, and you've been our awesome audience. See you next week.
We're here with Doug Bradley, most notably Pinhead from Hellraiser.
I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild of America, and I've just advocated illegally downloading films. It'd be called Throwable, as it has nothing whatsoever to do with feet.
That is very true.
I wish you all the health in the world, but sort iTunes out, please.
Find more of this and other shows at sorgatronmedia.com.